Humankind cannot gain anything without first giving something in return. To obtain, something of equal value must be lost. Equivalent exchange, the foundational law of alchemy in Fullmetal Alchemist. Most people think it's just a cool magic system, a fictional rule that makes the world interesting. But this principle is actually one of the most psychologically accurate philosophies ever presented in fiction, and applying it to your real life will solve problems you didn't even know you had. Because modern culture has sold you a dangerous lie, that you can have everything you want without sacrifice. And that lie is destroying your ability to make meaningful choices, build real success, and find actual satisfaction in life. If this kind of deep dive into anime philosophy interests you, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It really helps the channel grow. And I'm curious, what's your take on the balance between sacrifice and gain in life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. Modern self-help culture sells you a fantasy. You can have everything you want without sacrifice. Manifest your dreams through positive thinking. Find your passion and money will follow. Achieve work-life balance where you're successful and happy and healthy, and have perfect relationships and unlimited free time. Just think positive enough. Work hard enough, optimize enough, and the universe will give you everything. Fullmetal Alchemist calls bullshit on this immediately. Equivalent exchange states a fundamental truth that our culture desperately wants to deny. Everything has a cost. Every gain requires a loss. Every choice means choosing one thing over another. There is no magic formula, no life hack, no manifestation technique that lets you have it all. The Elric brothers learned this the hardest way possible. They try to bring their mother back to life and lose everything in the process. Edward loses his arm and leg. Alphonse loses his entire body. The thing they wanted most cost them more than they were willing to pay. And this isn't just a tragic backstory. It's a philosophical statement. The universe doesn't care about your wants. It doesn't adjust prices based on how badly you need something or how good your intentions are. The cost is the cost, and pretending otherwise leads to catastrophe. You might think this sounds depressing, but it's actually incredibly liberating. Once you accept equivalent exchange as reality, you stop wasting energy on impossible fantasies and start making strategic choices about what you're actually willing to sacrifice. Want a successful career? Great. The cost is time and energy that could have been invested in relationships, hobbies, health, or rest. Want deep, meaningful relationships? Wonderful. The cost is vulnerability, emotional labor, time, and accepting that you can't control how others respond to you. Want freedom and adventure? Exciting. The cost is stability, security, and the comfort of routine. None of these are wrong choices, but they are choices. And FMA teaches you to make them consciously instead of expecting the universe to somehow give you everything for free. Look at how the show handles this with every character. Roy Mustang wants to reform the military from within and create a better country. Noble goal, right? The cost? He has to get his hands dirty, compromise some of his morals in the short term, work within a corrupt system, and sacrifice his present comfort for uncertain future change. Scar wants revenge for his people's genocide. Understandable motivation. The cost? His humanity, his brother's peaceful legacy, his own inner peace, and potentially becoming the very thing he hates. Winry wants to support Ed and Al on their journey, sweet and loyal. The cost? Constant worry, being left behind, watching the people she loves put themselves in danger while she can only wait and hope. But here's where FMA gets really deep. Equivalent exchange isn't just about material trades or even just about sacrifice. It's about opportunity cost. The invisible price of every choice being all the other choices you didn't make. Edward could have stayed home in Rezembul and lived safely with Winry. The cost would have been giving up on returning Al's body to normal. He could have kept his automail and continued being a state alchemist with all that power and resources. The cost would have been compromising his principles and staying part of a system he disagrees with. Every choice he makes involves trading one thing he values for another thing he values more in that moment. And that's the key insight. FMA teaches you to be conscious about what you actually value and what you're genuinely willing to sacrifice for it. Most people aren't honest about this. They say they want success but aren't willing to sacrifice comfort. They say they want relationships but aren't willing to sacrifice ego. They say they want change but aren't willing to sacrifice stability. Think about your own life through the lens of equivalent exchange. What do you say you want? Now ask yourself honestly, what am I willing to give up to get it? Want to be healthy and fit? The cost is discipline, time spent working out instead of relaxing, money on good food or gym memberships, giving up foods you enjoy, social situations where you can't eat what everyone else is eating. Want to be highly educated or skilled? The cost is years of focused study, student debt or opportunity cost of time not spent earning money, social life sacrificed for studying, accepting that you'll know more but relate less to people who didn't make the same investment. Want to be spontaneous and free-spirited? The cost is financial security, career advancement, long-term planning, and the comfort of knowing what's coming next. Want to be a creator or artist? The cost is financial instability, judgment from others, years of work before seeing results, rejection and criticism, time that could have been spent on safer pursuits. Most people fail at their goals, not because they don't want them enough, but because they're not willing to pay the actual price. They want the results without the sacrifice. They want the destination without the journey. They want the transformation without the pain of change. FMA forces you to be brutally honest. If you're not willing to pay the price, you don't actually want the thing as much as you think you do. And that's okay. But be honest about it. Don't lie to yourself and then feel like a failure when you don't achieve goals you never actually committed to. But FMA also teaches something crucial about equivalent exchange that goes beyond simple transactions. The value of what you sacrifice isn't objective, it's personal. What matters is what it means to you. Edward's final transmutation, giving up his alchemy to bring back Alphonse, is the ultimate expression of mature equivalent exchange. He trades his greatest power, his defining characteristic, his entire identity as the Fullmetal Alchemist for his brother's life and body. To anyone else, this might seem like a bad trade. Edward's alchemy could save countless lives, change the world, prevent future tragedies. But to Edward, nothing is worth more than his brother. No hesitation, no regrets. He knows exactly what the trade is worth to him. This is the mature understanding of the principle. It's not about avoiding loss or minimizing sacrifice. It's about choosing consciously what you're willing to lose for what you value most. It's about accepting that you can't have everything, so you need to know what really matters. The show is filled with people who try to cheat equivalent exchange, to get something without paying the full price. And every single one of them ends up paying even more in the end. The homunculi seek immortality and perfection. The cost they don't account for? Their humanity, their ability to grow and change, the meaning that comes from mortality. They get what they want, but lose everything that makes existence worthwhile. Father seeks to become God, to transcend all limitations. The cost he refuses to acknowledge: connection, humility, the relationships that give life meaning. He achieves ultimate power for about 5 minutes before losing literally everything. Shu Tucker tries to pass the state alchemist exam without having sufficient skill. The cost he's unwilling to pay through honest work and study, he pays instead by transmuting his daughter and dog. He gets what he wants, but destroys himself in the process. The universe always collects its debts. If you refuse to pay up front through honest sacrifice, you'll pay later through consequences, regret, or loss of things far more valuable than what you tried to shortcut. The real wisdom of FMA isn't just about making sacrifices. It's about accepting your limits, about acknowledging that you can't have everything, you can't save everyone, you can't fix every problem. Edward starts the series believing he can restore everything he and Al lost if he just works hard enough and finds the right solution. He believes the problem is solvable, that there's some way to cheat the system or find a loophole. His growth throughout the series is accepting that some things can't be restored, some costs can't be recovered, some losses are permanent, and that's not a failure, it's reality. Maturity is accepting reality and making the best choices you can within its constraints. This applies directly to your life. You can't have the career and the family time and the social life and the hobbies and the fitness and the financial security all optimized simultaneously. Something has to give. And pretending otherwise just means you'll fail at everything instead of succeeding at what you consciously prioritize. Here's the paradox that FMA reveals. Accepting equivalent exchange, accepting that everything has a cost and you can't have it all, is actually what sets you free. When you stop believing you should be able to have everything, you stop feeling like a failure for not having everything. When you accept that every choice has a cost, you can make conscious trades instead of being paralyzed by trying to find the perfect option with no downside. Freedom isn't having unlimited options. Freedom is accepting your limits and making conscious choices within them. It's saying, I choose this, and I accept the cost of not choosing that. Edward becomes truly free not when he gains power or knowledge, but when he accepts what he can and can't control, what he will and won't sacrifice, who he is and who he'll never be. Equivalent exchange will fix your life not by giving you some magic formula for getting everything you want. It'll fix your life by teaching you brutal honesty about costs, values, and choices. It forces you to stop lying to yourself about wanting things you're not willing to sacrifice for. It makes you conscious about your choices instead of being passive about your circumstances. It helps you stop feeling like a failure for not having it all and start feeling successful for getting what truly matters to you. The universe operates on equivalent exchange, whether you acknowledge it or not. Every moment you spend on one thing is a moment not spent on something else. Every dollar you spend is a dollar not saved or invested elsewhere. Every relationship you maintain requires energy not available for other relationships. The only question is, will you make conscious trades based on what you actually value? Or will you keep pretending you can have everything and end up with nothing you truly wanted? Stand up, walk forward, but know that every step costs something, and make damn sure you're walking towards something worth the price. Because in the end, the only thing more expensive than sacrifice is refusing to choose what to sacrifice for.